Good morning. Today I'm just gonna have a conversation and have you guys tag with me while I'm feeding the livestock, doing my morning chores here on the homestead. I'm gonna talk about something a little bit awkward to me, but it's kind of humbling. So stay tuned. Good morning. Welcome back to Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I'm your host, Jerry Hansen. I'm going to talk to you guys about something while I'm doing my morning chores. You guys can go with me while I'm doing that, but it's something that is a little bit awkward for me, that I've been kind of living with for the past 5 years. It doesn't happen all the time, but it's quite humbling when it does happen. I gotta feed and water the rabbits first, but I've been doing YouTube for about 7 years now. My first YouTube video was advertising a little toy so I can generate enough revenue to be able to finish putting the foundation on the house. Yeah, I did that very creatively. And over the course of time, I was able to monetize my videos, and then creating content by building all of the infrastructure here on the homestead and just learning how to homestead. So, with that said, my YouTube channel has been growing in popularity over the years, and with that, YouTubers may know this, and of course my viewers may know this, is that there's an element of celebrity that comes with being on YouTube. A lot of YouTubers have that issue. It's not a bad thing, but it's just one of those things. For me, it's just a bit awkward. But it's okay. I'm learning how to adjust to it, and I am quite humbled by it. Couple of incidences, being on YouTube, that's what got me discovered with the casting office. They were looking for people who wanted to audition for a reality show, this new reality show on Discovery Channel called Homestead Rescue. I'll tell you what, I've never heard of the show. I've never heard of the Rainies because I don't have TV, I don't watch TV, and we don't pay for subscriptions to networks like that. So that's how they reached out to me, was through YouTube and my email. Yeah, I decided, you know what, I'll go ahead and do the show, and no matter how stupid I look on TV, at least people are learning how not to homestead by looking at my failures and not making that same mistake. Sometimes I have jerks comment through saying how idiotic I look. You know what? I intentionally allowed myself to be put in that predicament because I'm transparent on my YouTube show, and I want people to see us for who we really are. And then also, I have no problem demonstrating my triumphs as well as my failures. Okay, I did that. So, they need food. I agreed to do the Homestead rescue thing, and boy, did that open up a whole new can of worms. I also created a video on how a poor man can buy cheap property, and that video is about what, our lives leading up to Homestead Rescue and what we had to endure just to get from where we came from to where we are today. And it's quite the tale to tell. So it struck a chord with a lot of people who are going through hardships and disabilities. A lot of people go through hardships. And a lot of people have dreams of owning their own land. And since I figured out how to do it in a not so conventional way, not a whole lot of people know about that. So I freely shared that with them, and how I did it so they could do the same thing. Well, that video went absolutely viral. It went nuts. And I created that video after we had shot the reality show for Discovery Channel, and but I had it air several months before the show premiered. So that video went viral, and then the show came out. Well, the video that went viral, wow. It is what triggered that little bit of a celebrity thing. And then coincidentally, the show came in and premiered, and then that created a whole nother level in conjunction with, because on the reality show, they didn't do this on anybody else's show. Maybe a couple of them I've heard that they've mentioned YouTube channels, but on my show they mentioned my YouTube channel 4 times on the show. And to be honest with you, I did not want them to mention my show or my YouTube channel on the show, which the producer and the director were totally perplexed, because most people want to advertise their show. I wanted to keep my show, my Pine Meadows Hobby Farm, on YouTube, mine, personal. I wanted it to reflect who we really are. And then they had to talk me into going ahead and allowing them to talk about my show and putting my show on the air. I reluctantly agreed to it. It was reluctance on my part that I did not want the show on there. And there's other reasons why I didn't want it. It all came out, it all worked out to good, though. Because in spite of how goofy or ridiculous or ignorant we looked on the show, it is a reality show. And we allowed somebody to come onto our land and make observations of us. And it's just like letting somebody look in to our lives, but we were in a perspective of always looking out, and we didn't see why we were failing in some things. But having the ability for somebody to come in and look from the outside looking in, could observe what we're doing wrong, especially somebody with more experience and more skills to be able to teach us and help us be successful. Well, I've got to tell you, the gifts of knowledge and understanding that Marty Rainey, Misty Rainey, and Matt Rainey gave us was indispensable. We are so far becoming more successful than we ever have been before. It's just taken a lot of hard work, but with that, we created the show. So my video aired on YouTube, and then the show aired a couple of months later, and it created this celebrity type thing. I remember my first awkward moment. It was a doozy. It wasn't that bad. It was just kind of like, this lady and her son were delivering the local newspaper to our local grocery store. And as I was walking by the sidewalk in front of them, I could overhear the boy saying, "Hey, Mom, I think that's that guy from the YouTube channel." And she looks at me, and I didn't hear anything because I walked into the store. And when I came back out, they were still there. And I noticed her looking at me, and I overheard her say, "I think you're right. It is him." So they didn't encounter me, but it was kind of interesting. That was my first um, um, encounter with the celebrity thing. It's kind of awkward, but it was kind of humbling too. It was really humbling. It's just like, it's weird. It's just, I can't explain the feeling. It's just weird. And then I got to feed the goats. Another incident was when the show was airing. Oh, this is hilarious. I I was at work, and for a lot of you who don't know, I'm a medical professional by trade. I work as a certified nurse's aide at the local hospital. I've moved into other job since then, but as a certified nurse's aide, I'd go do bedside care and I'd meet the patients and have a lot of interaction with patients throughout my 12-hour shift daily. And our show was airing. It happened to be the morning I was there, and it was at the very time, this is funny, at the very time I was doing my vitals. So I walk into a room, and that patient was watching me on TV. I go in and I introduce myself and tell them that my name, what I am, I'm a certified nurse's aide. I've been assigned to help your nurse with your care today, and I'm here to collect some vital signs for you. And so they're looking at me. They look at the TV. They look back at me. They look back at the TV, and they look at me with perplexity. And I go, "That's okay, honey. It's the medication, really." So she knows I'm pulling her leg, so that she gets excited and wants my autograph. That's weird. That was the first time I was asked for my autograph. The second room I went into, same thing. So that gal just wanted the autograph, and she was, when I was leaving the room, I heard her pick up the phone and call her family member saying, "You gotta turn on the TV right now. That guy on TV, he's my nurse. Oh my God." So that one was, I have to admit, that was embarrassing. Here you go, guys. Oh, I gotta feed the baby turkeys and make sure they're watered. Yeah, they got water. I just need to get them food. But who knew that 3 patients in a row liked the Discovery Channel and they were watching this new show, Homestead Rescue, on TV? And the third show, or the third patient, I walked into her room. This is all true. I walked into her room, and she sees me on TV, and she goes, "Oh my God, you're him. You're on TV right now." And I go, "Yeah, guilty as charged." And she grabs her cell phone. She goes, "I want a selfie with you." And that's like, oh gosh. Okay, so those of you who have done Homestead Rescue, you're going to have a lot of encounters to some semblance like this. I don't know. But also YouTube personalities. You also encounter things like this. One of my favorite incidences that happened, it was like, it's really touching because it was, I don't know. Let me go get the feed and we'll go feed the turkeys and I'll tell you this. I keep a special blend in there for the baby turkeys because they require a specialized diet because it's a wild game starter feed that I feed the baby turkeys. Yeah, they're both going to need feed. So I walk into the patient room and first thing in the morning, and my first routine in the morning is to introduce myself to all my patients and let them know I'll be back later to collect their vital signs. Well, this one young lady who was laying in the bed, and her husband was sitting on a chair in the corner. I noticed he just watched me as I walked by, and then watched me as I walked out, and I thought in the back of my mind, okay, that's odd. So, I came back later to do her vital signs, and he's watching me walk in and watching me walk out as I do the vital signs. But when I walked in, I did the vital signs of my patient, and then she says, "My husband says you look familiar." And now, mind you, this is my favorite story of the celebrity thing. And I go, "Oh, I float in many circles in the community around where I live with Civil Air Patrol, being around the airport, and then the pastor's community, and then there's a couple of other communities I circulate in the medical community." And I asked him about those, and he goes, "No, none of those." And I go, "So what do you do?" He goes, "Well, I'm disabled. I have a little farm out in this little outlying town." And I go, "Oh, do you watch YouTube?" He goes, "You're Jerry from Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. Do 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 do." He hummed my tune that I had created for the show. That was probably the the funniest and most endearing encounter I have ever had with a fan. That's probably my favorite to this day. Let's get these little ones done. They're about big enough to go into this cage with the others. Uh-oh. Oh, your water's all clouded up too. I have to keep the lid over them because they will fly out. This set, when they were in there, I had 6 of them. 2 of them had flown out into the duckling pen, and one drowned in the pool, and the other one was soaking wet and managed to get out of the pool. So I lost it, and then another one just found dead. So I ended up with 3 left out of 6. And then I found a local supplier here last week and got some more Naragansette chicks. And I bought 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 of them. I lost one, so I'm down to 4. So I have a total of 7 Naragansette turkeys in my collection, which makes me very happy. So those are the encounters that I have. Oh, the last one was kind of interesting. I was walking out of my little local hardware store that I frequent, and this guy drives up in his truck to the parking spot and sees me, and he rolls down his window and he goes, "Oh, oh, I just watched you on TV." Apparently our show was in reruns on that day, and he had just got through watching us on TV. And what are the chances of encountering somebody in the public that you just saw on TV? I know how I feel when I see somebody coming into our area. It's kind of funny. We had Matt LeBlanc show up at our local feed store one time. There, we have a local TV producer that lives here. Plus, we have that animal actor farm up the street, so we get all kinds of movie stars in the area filming movies and commercials. And I see people once in a while. I even see them at work. I can't talk about that or who I see or what they're there for. But I just learned to, stay back and just like, oh, you're, think to myself, oh, that's so and so. And I want to give them their privacy. Because I'm sure they get a lot of paparazzi and a lot of fans always after them all the time. But now that I'm experiencing kind of sort of on a lower level of celebrity as they do, I kind of understand where they're coming from. But I often wonder how they think. I know I'm very grateful for my fans. And that's what's so humbling, is this guy that drove up and wrote down his window and said, "Oh, you're him from the show I just watched." And I go, "Yeah, guilty as charged." Let's give him some fresh water. Ew. So when he rolled his window down and talked to me and recognized me, I just took some time and stood there and talked to him and asked him how he was, what he does for work. He says he wants to get together for coffee sometime. I think, that'd be kind of cool to support our local cafe. We have a little local cafe that's been shut down for quite a while because of the pandemic. And I guess that'll be okay to meet him down there and just have a chat with him, see how he's doing, what's up, answer any questions he might have. And this next week, I'm on a 6 or 7 week vacation. It's a staycation because I was hoping to be going on a journey, a big adventure I've never been on before. I was hoping to go to London and Paris, but I don't think that's going to happen in my lifetime. Yeah, I think I'll just stick around here and do things that are in my area. We've got some shows that we're working on Off the Beaten Path. You guys might enjoy those. My son and I are teaming up with that. I'll probably be mostly behind the camera and he'll be hosting that show. I've got to go get some chicken food because we've got to feed the chickens and make sure they have water. So, stay tuned to that series. I did one episode already on Off the Beaten Path, and it's gonna be the safe distancing. We're gonna do things away from people, but we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this, and I hope you guys come along for the ride and share that enthusiasm and excitement with us. Also, I do have 2 fans that want to come by the homestead, and I think one is a celebrity himself. He's a big celebrity, if it's who I think it is, but he's going to be coming over sometime this next week, and if he's amenable to it, I think we'll try to shoot a show around it, kind of having him ask me questions from a fan's point of view. And I won't tell you who he is. You guys might recognize him when he comes on camera. And then another guy, he is a local, wants to learn my style of homesteading, how I got the layout, and see, basically what I do here on Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. Ultimately, I would like to set up a self-watering system for all the critters. That way I don't have to worry about watering them in the future. That's a plan for next year, because this year I'm focusing on finishing projects that I've started over the last 7 years that I've never finished. Take, for instance, this chicken house. It's not finished. I got trim to put up. I got to finish that door and then repaint the roof. I really like this waterer. You feel it from the bottom, don't have to take it apart. Oh. So, if you're a fan and you're local, or you see me in your neighborhood, don't be afraid to stop and say hi. I'm not going to treat you like a big famous Hollywood star. It's okay to just say hi and you watch my show, but let me know which show you know me from, because I've got YouTube. I have celebrity from YouTube, and I've got celebrity from Discovery Channel and Animal Planet. Let me put this away. I have been working off and on in the TV and movie industry for years. I think my first show I ever did, I was 16 years old. I was in high school, and yeah, I was 16. Yeah, 16 years old. I was in high school, and I had a small part in a magical world of Disney movie with it had Willie Ames, had Larry Wilcox in it. I know it had Ronald Reagan in it. There's a bunch of other cast members I don't remember, but I had a short part. But that was my first, and I've had many since that I've worked off and on. There was a movie pilot, The Contender, that became a series that I helped in. There was also a movie I helped in, and I was behind almost every scene in that. I assisted a guy named Mike Moore, who did the sound in that movie, and that was with Frankie Avalon, Lenny Montana, oh, and Richard Jekyll. He's probably one of my favorite actors. Really nice, down-to-earth guy, Richard Jekyll. Yeah, you might remember him from the Dirty Dozen. Yeah, he was from that show. I also did a movie when I was living in Korea. I did a short bit in a movie. It was Incheon. It was filmed under the title of The Lights of Incheon, but by the time I got home from Korea, it was actually airing on the silver screen at the theater. It's called Incheon, and it had Ben Gazzara. I think Omar Sharif was in there. Jacqueline Bisset was in there. Richard Roundtree. They were in there. I did that movie. And just a real small part, but these are different productions that I've worked in over the years. I really love filmmaking, and as if you guys have watched my Pine Meadows Hobby Farm show over the years, you notice that the quality is getting a little bit better. That's for your sake, because I wanted to be able to produce really, really good content for you guys to be entertained by and learn from. I love teaching people. When I was deputy commander for cadet programs at the local squadron of the Civil Air Patrol, I had absolutely a wonderful time facilitating the program and teaching these kids leadership skills. I facilitated aerospace education for them so they can learn all things aerospace. Did different events for them, took them on field trips. I took them up to the Museum of Flight at Boeing Field in Seattle, spent the night in the museum, and had a midnight tour, a private midnight tour in the museum. That was so much fun, so awesome, and the kids had so much fun. I think I had more fun than they did. Gotta water the greenhouse. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the story of my awkwardness of being a minor celebrity And the different interactions I get with people who come up to me or even recognize me from afar. I know other homesteaders who have been on the Homestead Rescue Show have encountered similar events like that. It's just weird. You know, Marty Rainey was asked, why does he always wear that shirt? I was talking to Misty when they were here, and Misty was saying he always wears the same cowboy shirt, the same, or yes, yeah, and the same hat, same coat, even when he's traveling on the flight. And Misty said that is because he wants to be recognized. It's okay for him to be recognized. Marty is a nice guy. He's approachable. Misty and Matthew, them two. And if you notice in the episodes, Misty and Matthew wear different clothes with each show. So you'll notice they don't want to wear the same thing every day. Marty made it simple for himself. That way he doesn't have to change garments from one episode to the other. He just wears either new or clean all the time, but it's not the same stinky clothes. I don't think Marty's wife would let him get away with that. I know Marty was shooting an episode at his homestead, his new homestead up there in Alaska, and one scene, Molly, his wife, had brought his pants down to him because he had gotten wet and they were frozen stiff. And I told Marty, I says, like, I know who wears the pants in your house, you do. And I go, and I know your wife tells you which pair to put on. Of course, he got a laugh out of that. And that's so true with successful relationships and marriages. I'm Jerry Hansen, your host here at Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. I want to thank you guys for showing up and watching this episode on the awkwardness of being a bit of a celebrity. Still not used to it. Please stay tuned to more videos. You can do that by subscribing and clicking that bell icon. That alerts you to new videos as I do produce them and upload them. Also, click that share button and share my videos on your social media platforms. That really helps out the channel a lot. Yeah, my subscribers have been going up because you guys have been doing that and clicking that share button and sharing my videos, because I'm averaging about 1,000 new subscribers, not quite, about 1,000 new subscribers a week. So my channel now is growing exponentially. And I'm not sure if it's because of just the content of my show or if it's truly the reality show, because it airs all over the world and it introduces us to new markets all over the place. New markets. So I'm really grateful for that. Really grateful. Because that affords me a little bit of revenue to be able to pay my land payments, the taxes, and the insurance. Just from that alone. That's nice. That's really nice. Thank you guys for helping out here at the homestead. We're a frugal homestead tucked high in the Cascade Ranges of the Pacific Northwest, located geographically west-southwest of Crater Lake National Park. We'll see you guys in more videos. I gotta finish up this chore, and then I'll go in and produce this video.